guys, it's Benny. It's no secret that Tucker Carlson has beef with the state of Israel. He's a constant critic of Israel and its government. Plenty to criticize, obviously, but he really went there in a speech last summer, Turning Point USA, where Charlie Kirk was encouraging him, in fact, to hit as hard as he possibly can against Jeffrey Epstein. And he said this about Epstein and his ties to Israeli.
Acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born.
So Tucker Carlson, obviously, saying then, continuing to say that Israel commits crimes on American soil, that Jeffrey Epstein committed crimes on behalf of Israel on American soil. And this is just one of the many times that Tucker Carlson has gone in, of course, extremely hard on the Israel question. This is shocking behavior for a United States ambassador, says Tucker Carlson about Mike Huckabee. Now, this is Mike Huckabee, and I think this is absolutely and totally repulsive behavior, by the way. Like, I'm still waiting for an explanation here. U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee welcomed convicted U.S. spy Jonathan Pollard into the U.S. Embassy in July. This should have gotten Mike Huckabee removed from his position, period. And it's like not something from my perspective that like I'm going to say with any animus, right, towards the Huckabee family, just on principle. This is something that you have to remove an ambassador for. Jonathan Pollard is one of the worst spies in U.S. history. He should never be welcomed to a U.S. embassy. He should be in prison. He should have been in prison a lot longer than he actually was. He was bailed out by the state of Israel, given a hero's welcome by the state of Israel. It's totally sickening. Anyway, Tucker Carlson says, shocking behavior from a U.S. ambassador. Is Huckabee going to explain this, welcoming one of the worst U.S. spies in history who spied on behalf of Israel on America? Okay. Well, Mike Huckabee said, Tucker Carlson, instead of talking about me, why don't you come and talk to me? Why don't you, you seem to be generating a lot of heat about the Middle East. Why are you afraid of the light? So Mike Huckabee invites Tucker Carlson to Israel. And then Tucker says, thanks for this. I'd love to. We'll reach out to your office today and set up an interview. Tucker Carlson announced today he's in Israel. So there you go. Tucker Carlson in Israel. Greetings from Israel, and you can see the Israeli flags, and you see they're at some type of what looks like a diplomatic, perhaps, location in Israel. Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, something crazy hit the wire, which is that Tucker Carlson was detained in Israel. The journalist was dragged into an interrogation room, and his entire staff was halted from entering the nation. Oh, boy. Okay, well, here we go. Now we're cooking. Conservative podcast titan Tucker Carlson said he and his staff were detained in Israel Wednesday following the interview with Donald Trump's ambassador to the country. So this is going to be a big interview. It's going to be an interview, obviously, of Mike Huckabee for the aforementioned reasons. But this is new. The former Fox News host flew to Tel Aviv for a sit-down interview with Mike Huckabee, who challenged Carlson to speak with him directly in an online spat, the country's treatment of Christians. Carlson, who frequently criticizes Israel for its military actions in Gaza, took Huckabee up on the offer. Critics of the pro-Israel activist began piling on Carlson for purportedly not leaving the airport during the visit. He revealed that he was met with hostility in the Middle Eastern country. Carlson exclusively told the Daily Mail that shortly after the interview, Israeli officials confiscated his passport, hauled him and his colleagues into interrogation rooms privately. Men who were identified themselves at the airport took our passports, this is Tucker Carlson speaking, hauled our executive producer into a side room, and then demanded to know what we spoke to Mike Huckabee about, Carlson told the Daily Mail. Whoa. So this is an American citizen speaking with an American ambassador in a foreign country, and that foreign country is then harassing the journalist? That's insane. It was bizarre. We are now out of the country, says Tucker. Prior to the interview, Carlson posted a photo of himself and his business partner at the Ben Gurion airport with the captions, "Greetings from Israel." I just showed you that photo. This is a really big scandal. Too bad Tucker stayed at the airport to face so many investigations, to see so many wonderful places, a huge obvious intention, missed opportunity, said David Friedman, he's the former ambassador, saying Tucker should have gone into the country, right? Gotten assassinated. Two sources familiar with the matter, however, told the Daily Mail that the Israeli government initially did not want to allow Tucker Carlson into the country, prompting a delicate negotiation involving the State Department. Goodness gracious. So you didn't want him there to interview the American ambassador, so an American can't go interview an American ambassador. In the end, the Israeli government decided to not bar Carlson from entering the country in order to avoid a diplomatic incident. A spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy in Israel denied that Carlson was detained, claimed he received the same passport control questions that countless visitors to Israel, including Ambassador Huckabee and diplomats, receive as part of their normal entrance and exit from Israel. It is not accurate that Israel was going to let Tucker Carlson into the country for the interview, the representative added. The only engagement at the embassy had to do with Israel and the visit to coordinate his private plane landing as part of the facilitating seamless visit. It was Tucker who chose to only come to the country for a few hours and then depart. Tucker received the same positive treatment of any visitors to Israel. The Daily Mail contacted the White House and Netanyahu's office. Obviously, Carlson's been a critic of Israel and has been advocating for the proper treatment of Christians inside of Israel. So here we go. Tucker Carlson detained in Israel, massive trending topic around the globe. American citizen journalist Tucker Carlson detained for interviewing a U.S. ambassador. We won't tolerate this. You just made it worse. Here we go. So here's both sides. MTG versus Laura Loomer. It makes you wonder if Israel intelligence has something on Tucker Carlson being a foreign agent. Do they have evidence that he works for Qatar or Iran? So here we go. Community notes remain undefeated. Carlson was only in the country for a transit capacity for a few hours to conduct an interview with Huckabee. He never left the airport. He refused an invitation to visit the Christian community in Israel. Tucker Carlson detained at the airport. Okay. The U.S. Embassy says Carlson was not detained or mistreated in Israel. He was routine passport control question at Ben Gurion. Tucker claims he was dragged into an interrogation room. When I was in college doing political activism and college Republicans, I was invited to Israel. I went to Israel and they had heavy passport controls. I wasn't dragged in any interrogation room, but I mean, I think Tucker would know the difference between normal passport controls and like being dragged into an interrogation room. Mark Levin, Carlson has a private jet. Did Jeffrey Epstein have a private jet? I see the connection here, just asking questions. So you see where this is devolving into, okay? So anyway, I guess we'll find out soon, right? Tucker Carlson is not suicidal. He won't leave the airport in Israel. It would be easier to leave the airport and come to the country ran by trustworthy people. The streets were filled with trustworthy people. Sadly, this is not the case in Israel. Okay. What on earth, people are saying. All right. I guess we'll wait to see what the actual truth of the matter is. I can't wait for this interview. This is going to be an absolute banger. Let me know what you think in the comment section. It's your boy Benny. See ya.